USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
British Spy Stories Season 5 Kill or Be Killed. Episode 8. The flat that MI6 have rented for Gabby Lane as part of her cover life as Lady Imogen Harwood is in the enormous neoclassical building at 130 Avenue Montaigne off the Champs-Élysées in the 8th arrondissement of Paris. When she arrived yesterday, tech branch engineers were still finishing the comms room that has been hidden behind a false wall in the third bedroom and is accessed via a hinged floor-to-ceiling 18th century French mirror. She showers and selects a light blue Chanel suit from the wardrobe of clothes that have been provided for her before she eats fresh croissant delivered at dawn by a breakfast delivery service. Gabby pulls the mirror to the comms room and sits on one of the two chairs in front of a long desk. Before her is a large central monitor and 4 smaller screens, 2 on either side. She types into the keyboard and the main screen displays the words Video Encrypt Request. A ringing tone sounds from the speakers in the room, and the screen changes to show Hans in his hotel room in Brussels. "I got some news. Rose." Gabby screws up her face. "What about her?" "We slept together." Then he quickly adds, "I know it wasn't the plan." "Tell me the circumstances." Hans relates the events of Sunday night. "It may not have been our plan, Gordon, but it sounds like it was her plan." Gabby pulls up a map of Brussels on the side screen. "You picked the bar to have a drink at random, you said. The chance of Rose turning up is small. Her hotel is 10 minutes from that bar, but there are plenty of other places she could have chosen. Also, though, this does tell us that she and Oliver Bailey aren't getting on. That's useful." "Will she kill him?" says Hans. "I'd say not. He wouldn't be a threat if he stopped working for her. He's not dangerous in that sense. He'd just go back to fiddling foreign exchange trades." "And if I accept the offer to be her man in London, it could give us an opportunity to get in close to her thinking?" "Maybe. Let me consider it." "I need to go," says Hans. "We're meeting for brunch." His face fades to black on the screen, and Gabby hits another connection, to Laravel. "Jenny, I saw your report from last night about Raphael starting to move on a deal." "He made an offer for the blueprints of the Fueza missile system from the manufacturer here in Madrid. They're called Ramiro Tactical. That was yesterday. Has there been progress since?" "He had a call with Rose this morning. Then he moved €1 million between 2 bank accounts that belong to Nox Ventura," she says. "It looks like it's happening." "Then we need to stop him." "We can get him and the CEO arrested," says Laravel. "There's enough evidence in my recordings to hold them for 48 hours. Gabby pulls up a page of information. In the background briefing documents on him, it says he has many friends in the Madrid courts, she says. He was arrested last year on a fraud charge, but the evidence went missing and they dropped the case. "I saw that," says Laravel. "He's close to at least 3 Madrid judges." Gabby takes a deep breath. "This is the missile system that's being considered for the British Army as well as the Spanish," she says. "So he's a strategic threat if this goes ahead. And we have an approved J-21 for him." She refers to the official classification for an order to terminate an individual deemed to be a threat to British security. Laravel waits for the judgment. "I'll raise a kill order on the system and allocate Agent Coniston," says Gabby. "Keep eyes on Raphael and flag up immediately when you get more details on the arrangements for the document handover." "Yes, ma'am." Gabby spends half an hour trying to get in touch with Coniston, but all channels give no answer. This raises her suspicions that something has happened. But given one of Gabby's key skills is tenacity, she needs to find another way to track Kate's whereabouts. She goes onto the CCTV tracker inside the MI6 Oberon system. This app allows any field agent to see the footage from thousands of security cameras. Where a country is friendly to the UK, the camera feeds have been obtained legally. Where that's not possible, MI6 engineers have had to resort to hacking backdoors in various camera software throughout the world. The system can isolate words, numbers and faces in the video feeds. Gabby types in Kate's car license number plate and initially searches around the Zurich area. She goes through the results and after 50, pulls up an image of Kate's car leaving the parking under her flat at 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Gabby extends the search and asks for every camera in Europe that has seen the car number plate in the last 24 hours. A map of the continent appears in front of her, and her face is illuminated with a pale blue glow from the screens. Markers show a route across the map where matches have been found for the car, and she can see that Kate went south from Zurich and ended up finally being seen by a camera on the main road near the Rheinwald Valley, on the Italian border. Gabby switches into satellite tracking and navigates to Rheinwald. She types into the keyboard to display known MI6 properties in the area, and only one comes up. The wooden house in the hills, called Kappa 16. She immediately calls the Catharsis Support Service and orders a helicopter to Switzerland. They confirm that she can fly from the Issy-les-Moulineaux heliport within an hour. That is 20 minutes away from her Paris flat. So she grabs a coat and heads out to catch a taxi to go and talk to her favourite assassin. The gym next to Battersea Bridge is only a 9-minute walk from the flat where Elodie lives, with Oliver Bailey on the Thames in London. Despite this short distance, every morning at exactly 9:30, Elodie's purple Mazda MX-5 Miata noses out onto Battersea Church Road to take her on the short drive to get her exercise. This fact came out of the work that MI5 Tails had done last week when they followed Elodie on her daily routine, and now Loxby is on the weights machine by the windows as Elodie walks into the gym. After 10 minutes, the spin bike next to Elodie is empty, and Loxby climbs onto it. "I've seen you here before," she says to Elodie. "I'm Lara." Loxby uses the name of the false life given to her by MI5 for use in her covert work. They chat about exercising and food on the bikes, and about the gyms back home in New York, where Elodie is from. After that, they both go on the leg curl machines and the treadmills together. "That's me done," says Elodie, as her treadmill slows to a walking pace. "Do you want to have some juice in the cafe?" says Loxby. Elodie turns up her nose. "The juice here ain't great." Loxby doesn't want to lose this contact, as it's the first part of their plan to stop Oliver leaking secrets. "We could go out and get some. Why don't you come back to mine?" says Elodie. "We bought a new juicer, and I get fresh fruit delivered." They walk to the car park, and the American gives Loxby a spare gate fob for the parking barrier under the flats where she lives. Then she drives off into the distance. Loxby has bought her father's Austin Healey Sprite from Cambridge. She sits in it and calls Riverside, then sets off the same way that Elodie had gone. By the time Loxby arrives at the flats, the American has disappeared underground, but Riverside is waiting near the gate barrier. "Copy this fob," she says, handing it to him after she uses it to open the parking barrier. "Then get it back to me in the flat." While Riverside sits in his car to strip and reload the fob's software into a duplicate, Loxby ascends in the lift inside the building. Elodie shows her around the flat, and especially the view from the balcony of the London panorama rolling out to the horizon. There's a large porcelain bowl by the front door, on a set of black drawers where Elodie left her keys when she arrived. And while she's in the bathroom, Loxby picks up the keys and drops them into her pocket. The women are pressing their juices when the buzzer rings on the door entry panel. "Yep," says Elodie, into the video entry screen. "Parcel for Miss Baxter." She looks puzzled and makes a face at Loxby, but activates the remote door release anyway. "I don't know what I ordered." They stand by the open front door and wait for the delivery man. When the lift arrives, Riverside steps out, wearing overalls and a baseball cap. He has a parcel in one hand and a tablet computer in the other. As he hands over the parcel, he drops the tablet, and Loxby immediately crouches to pick it up. As she hands it back to him, and the tablet hides their hands, two items pass between them, one in each direction. From him to her, the parking gate fob moves, while the front door keys to the flat move the other way into Riverside's fingers. As the delivery man turns and walks back inside the waiting lift, Loxby checks her watch. The parcel is a bottle of champagne with no other details, and Elodie thinks it's from a guy who she met last month, who wanted to take her to dinner. While they talk in the kitchen, the lift doors silently open again, and Riverside steps out wearing black overalls over his branded parcel delivery uniform. He turns the key in the lock and gently pushes open the front door. In the kitchen, Loxby knows that she must keep Elodie busy for exactly 15 minutes from the moment that she gave Riverside the keys. There's a study at the end of a wide, light hallway in the flat. Riverside tiptoes to the study door and gently closes it behind him. He starts to search for anything that can be used for potential blackmail material against Oliver, if he does try to acquire secret documents. GCHQ had remotely explored Oliver's computer in the flat yesterday, but nothing incriminating had been found. So Riverside is hoping that there are hard copies of papers in the room that the man has deliberately kept offline for security. He starts to methodically explore the papers on the desk and in two filing cabinets along the back wall. "You get to travel much?" says Loxby in the kitchen. "Yeah, we were in the Maldives 3 weeks ago. Oliver had some pictures printed. They're in the study. I'll get them. Don't worry," she starts to say. But Elodie is already moving. Loxby thinks desperately for a distraction. The echoing smash of the coffee cup on the white tiles of the kitchen makes Elodie stop in her tracks. "Oh, I'm so sorry." Elodie returns to her guest, and they clear up the mess. "I'll get those pictures," says the American woman. Loxby walks with her, and they go to the study. The room is empty, but there are a set of keys discarded on the floor in the hallway. An hour later, Loxby walks into the little Battersea Bakery on Battersea Bridge Road. Riverside is in the far corner with 2 cappuccinos. "What did you find?" "Some tax stuff. Mr. Bailey's been significantly under-declaring his income for at least 3 years. I took photos of a ledger he has in the study, showing the actual income and what he declared. He owes $1 million, and he couldn't pay that back. Despite his cash flow, he's not a rich man. He spends most of it." "Is that enough evidence to use against him if he starts to buy classified documents?" "Should be," says Riverside. "We just messaged him with a couple of these pictures. This may be an easy operation, and we've closed him down already." "What's happening with the rest of this criminal network?" says Loxby. "If we've sorted London, what about the others?" "I can look it up." He dips his hand into a backpack on the seat next to him and produces a tablet computer. "They'll put up daily reports in our MI6 system." Riverside goes through the security layers on the machine before he gets to the live operations area that shows only the work that he is approved to access. The reports on Operation Oak Hill are listed in a folder on the right-hand side. He starts to read the updates that Gabby Hands and Laravel have added to the system. As he reads, his phone hums in his pocket, and he looks at the screen. "It's my brother," he says. "I just want to have a quick word with him. He's flying in from Australia for his annual visit next week." He stands up and moves the tablet around so Loxby can see it. "Here, have a read." He walks out of the cafe to answer the call, and Loxby starts to read the reports. She sees Hans' words about sleeping with Rose, and Laravel's briefing about Raphael and the bugging of the chateau. Loxby scrolls down further. There's a report from Gabby covering the first night in the chateau. Loxby starts to read Gabby's words. "As Agent Hans and I were going to the bedroom, we were stopped by Mademoiselle Froissart. She wanted to talk to me, and took me to a small room where she showed me the dead body of an MI6 resource who had been killed by Nox Ventura. I identified the body as that of Agent Woodville." Loxby can't breathe for a second. She puts her hand to her mouth, and she blinks her watery eyes. She tries to read more, but her tears stop her from seeing the words. The air seems to have left her lungs, and she gasps for oxygen. She wipes away her tears to focus on the letters on the screen. Gabby has detailed the injuries to Agent Woodville, and Loxby wants to stop reading but can't. The more she reads, the more her breaths come in short, pinched pants. She can feel her jaw shaking. Suddenly, Loxby can't face seeing any more about how her father died. She needs fresh air. She grabs her bag and hurries outside. Riverside is still on his phone, leaning against the lamppost on the pavement. Loxby pushes the laptop towards him until he takes hold of it. Then she turns and runs off down the street as fast as she can.